Hello and welcome to another video from Billy J. This is the 2025 Carlisle Ford Nat'l, and this year they were celebrating 60 years of the GT350. The one and only Boss 302 Shelby was on display as one of the feature cars. As you can see in the background here, it was on display along with several other GT350s. There were three 1965s. There was one 1966, two 1967s, two 1968s, and three 1969s and one 70. It was quite a nice display, and along with the celebration of the 60 years of the GT350 was the Ford GT celebrating 20 years of the Ford GT. It was quite a spectacle. So anyway, the show was great. Rained off and on through the show, but we were indoors. As you can see, the display was all the books published for the Boss 302 Shelby. This car was the prototype for the 1969 production of Trans Am edition Boss 302 Shelby, which never got off the ground. But here you can see the 1965s. All three of these cars were just mint as far as display and originality. They really looked nice. Of course, the 65 GT350s only came white. That was the only color. There were 562. And out of those, I believe that there were approximately 26, I could be wrong, R models that were made for racing purposes. But these were, of course, restored extremely nice. I mean, the engine compartments were absolutely perfect with all the tags. Black engines for 65. As you'll see here in a little bit, the 1966s were blue. This serial number of this car is 5S55. Kind of a neat number because that's the year that I was born, 1955. But anyway, yeah, it was serial number 055. So this was one of the very early 65 GT350s. Of course, they came with blue dots, which were Goodyear 130 mile an hour rated tires. Both these cars had the Krager style 65 Shelby mag, which was the optional wheel or mag compared to the standard silver, argent silver steel wheels. This is serial number 5S424. Here is this 1966, beautiful red, candy apple red. It's got the 10-spoke wheels on it. Very nicely restored. Coney shocks, of course. Blue engine, as I said, the 66s came with blue engines. 67, this is great because you don't see this very often. It's got the hubcaps, which was pretty much standard. The 10 spokes were an option, and so were the Kelsey Hayes Magstar. So it literally had three different wheel options. This is Highland Green. I could be wrong. I think that was actually called Moss Green. 68 was Highland Green. Same code, code R. Candy Apple Red 68 GT350. Very nice. They came with the oval air cleaner. Oh, this is a 67, excuse me, 67. This is also 67 with the 10 spokes. Beautiful lime gold. This is a 68. And this is a 68. This gentleman chose to put the Le Mans stripes on it, and of course in the background here you see the GT350 Boss 302 Shelby. Acapulco blue, which was a beautiful color for 69. This was again an engineer picked car. The DSO order number for this car was 9999. And it was to be produced as a GT350 Shelby. It just never got off the ground. Shelby resigning approximately 9 days after the car was built, which ended the program. So it's a shame they didn't produce this, but GT350 here has the Boss 302 drivetrain, which signifies the build sheet of this car was still a 69 Shelby ordered build sheet, but it was to be built as a Boss 302, not to be confused as a Shelby, because the Shelbys basically were kind of a Mach 1 suspension, where the Boss 302 got different springs, different spindles, and of course the drivetrain of the engine was completely different. Therefore, the build sheet was to be built as a Boss 302, but still VINed as a Shelby. Hence the name Boss Shelby. This is a beautiful Gulfstream Aqua 69 convertible GT350. And in the background is a black Jade GT350 1970. They didn't make very many convertibles. I think they made 190 some GT350 convertibles. Black Jade. In this film it looks like it's black, but it's dark green. And here you see the 4 GTs, two of the like 2018 19s, and then the rest are 2005s and 6s. You see the 2 Golf Heritage Editions. Which are beautiful. The blue and orange. They called those Heritage Editions in 2006. This is Camilo Pardo, who designed the Ford GT. This is his styling car. And then we've got a couple race cars. And then this was a prototype. I think just one of maybe 2 or 3 in existence. And once again, back to the Boss 302 Shelby. This car does not have power steering. Recognized as one of the only GT350s without power steering. Very unusual. Single key entry, which was an engineer pick. That was for law enforcement only. That meant that only one key opened everything: glove box, trunk, ignition, and doors. But that was for law enforcement only. But because of the uniqueness of the car and who ordered it, which is believed to be Bunky Knudsen, because of the 9999 order number, Carroll Shelby could not order a car from Ford. This had to be literally an executive at the top to order a number using that number. You can see the stance of the Boss 302 sits lower because of the springs. Once again, you see the 4 GTs, which are just awesome. A couple of these were very loud. Red, there's another golf car in the background. And Camilo Pardo, if I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but that was his styling car right there, the orange and white and black. And there's the little dog. He goes everywhere with me, including this car show. So he sits very nice, very well behaved. And then we had Thunderbirds on display, which was awesome. There were 4 1955-56 Thunderbirds, and then some very unusual Mercury Capris down there that were a special edition motorcraft cars. This is in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Once a year they hold the Ford Nationals here, and it's a very large show. Outside, oh my gosh, there was probably 2,000 to 3,000 cars. Shelby had a semi there. Of course, Ford had their semi. There's the semi there, as you can see. I got to meet the president of Shelby American, which was awesome. They brought these cars. This is a 1964 version of the Daytona Coupe. So 65 was a little different with some added spoilers and different scoops, but this is as it looked in 1964 and raced at Daytona. This is the GT350R that they unveiled at this show. It's up on a stage. This is the street version GT350 that Shelby unveiled. And anyway, the name is back in Shelby's name now. Ford does not have control of it. As you can see, the 4GT, the banner, the 20 years of, it's hard to believe that 20 years has gone by, but it's very hard for me to believe that it's 60 years for the GT350. Under the tent was more. There was probably about 24. Here's a very rare striped elite silver 4GT, one of the rarest colors of the 4GT. That's the gray. Of course, the standard white, which looks very traditional. There was next to it was a matte black. Here's a very rare striped elite red 4GT. That's one you don't see very often. And there is a black striped elite 4GT. We'll do a little walkthrough here and get a glimpse of, that's got some different wheels on it. Seemed like every one had a little different style wheel. That's the striped elite red one. It does have the side stripe, but no Le Mans stripes at the top. Those are kind of the standard wheels for the 4GT. And as you can see, the bonnet, the rear hood is open on the white one. This was a black one. Another dark gray. Also on display was, there's the striped elite gray one. I should say silver, not gray. There is a difference. And Camilo Pardo was standing there with a team shirt on. And then there was a replica of the Le Mans 1 1967 Mark IV 4GT. This had street tires on it, so it was very streetable. But what an awesome... The styling of this car was absolutely phenomenal. As you can see, it's very, very detailed. I'm sure the car performs well, but at the same time, it is streetable with street tires on it, so it's not a track car. Although you could still run on a track, just change the wheels. But the styling was beautiful of this car. Of course, the original, there was only one original that won, and it is in Ford's museum, the Henry Ford in Dearborn. Beautiful car. I would love to drive one of those cars. And this looked like a left-hand drive and not a right-hand. Makes it convenient for the street. But a fantastic show. You could wear yourself out walking around looking at all the cars. It's just, I have no idea how many acres is involved at Carlisle, but it's a very large fairground and just a great, great show. Enjoyed it. Was nice to have the Boss 302 Shelby on display as one of the feature cars for the 60-year celebration. Fantastic show. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy.